everyone, and welcome to The Safe Room, a horror actual play. It's not an actual play podcast. What the fuck am I saying? A game club podcast. I'm your host, Grace, and with me is my co-host, Rose.
I'm pulling up Roll20.
God fucking damn it. Mind jacking into the world of tabletop RPGs. I'm gonna play a cop who has an alcohol problem. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we played The Evil Within. We decided we want to take a little break from Fatal Frame and kind of come back to it with fresh eyes. So we'll cover 3 at some point, and 4, and the rest of them. Yeah. Do you have any opening thoughts about The Evil Within?
Man, it's a really good 2/3 of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then it isn't.
It kind of feels like they played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and then made the final third of it, is my feeling.
Yeah. It's like mostly good, and then the last third just well, part of it is like a 15-hour game, which is pretty long for one of these. It's like so for the audience, it's an action horror game. It's from creator of Resident Evil 4, Shinji Mikami, a Resident Evil series creator. So that's the second, because he also directed Dino Crisis, right? So this is number 2 of his games that we played on the show. And so it's kind of it's like over the shoulder, third person. The difference between like in Resident Evil 4 and this is that this has like a strong stealth component. There's kind of even a like immersive simmy quality to some of this stuff. There's a lot of like traps and kind of like things to get around, things to navigate. And then it's also like in this fucked up guy's mind palace. And so there's all these like sudden location changes and like trippy shit like that. And that's sort of like how it's kind of seeking to define itself against like other games in the space, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah, and then it does a good job of kind of merging sort of the Resident Evil 4 style combat with like Silent Hill aesthetics. In a way that is very compelling for me as somebody who likes to go in a room and have some fucked up shit happen or end up in a different room.
Yes, yeah, it's good. It's simply good. I do think this is like the Halloween Horror Nights version of Silent Hill. Right? Like it's, and I mean that like in a complimentary way, like it's super campy, it's ultra like exaggerated and silly, and that doesn't mean like there's some gruesome stuff in this game that did land for me. Like it's not like it's without horror, but it's mostly like fun, and so yeah, the structure of the game is kind of like haunted house roller coaster like, and I think that really befits it. I think that's part of where the game's length kind of works against it a little bit. Just because it's so frenetically paced that it kind of can't help but lose energy by the end, right?
I think part of it for me is like the first few chapters are just like really tight, interesting combat ideas or
like stealth ideas just made into a level. There are oftentimes in the early game where you will do a challenge, be it like combat or stealth, and then the chapter just ends as if to mark like this is what the design of this specific level is going to be. And then as you move forward throughout the game, it kind of loses that sort of conciseness and focus, and then it turns into kind of a slog where a lot of the challenges become like trial and error.
Yeah.
One hit kill situations where if you just fail one part of the thing you're supposed to do, you have to do the whole thing over in a way that feels very unfair and very frustrating. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, I do think that there's just a lot of boss encounters in this game that are like, this person will kill you in one hit or very quickly, right? And I think because there's like 5 guys who do that, right? It's like some of those guys really cool. Some of those guys freaking suck, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's it. There's sort of a feeling of like, I mean, my feeling is if I was Mikami here, it's like I already made the perfect video game. What many people think, I've never played Resident Evil 4, but what many people think is like the ideal action game, right? So I'm just gonna fucking throw shit at the wall. And generally speaking, it's like still really well crafted, right? And so I think that's part of what makes the last third of it so jarring, is that feeling of like, even when there were like times in the first like half or first couple thirds where I got a little bit frustrated or a little bit like exhausted, but like it's just good. It's just really good. And so it's very easy to kind of like traipse past or get past that stuff, right? I think it also helps. We talked about this a little bit with Fatal Frame 2, but this game narratively plays its cards really close to its chest for a long time. And it's not. Oh my god! It's not like it's not like it ever gets anywhere like really interesting, right? But it does benefit from being like very secretive about what the fuck is happening for a long time, right? And so there, like the game just has a WTF factor that I think is like very consistently compelling and really strong, right? It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of which, should we talk about what this game is about? I feel like I don't quite know how to tackle it.
Yeah. Because even by the end of it, like, there's not really a clear sense of what is real, what is not, or like what's happening. Really. I think the DLC gets into that more,
right? Which I did not play, and you did, partially because
I played some of the DLC.
Oh, okay.
I played one DLC.
Okay. I was gonna say partially because you DM'd me and were like, "I need your live on air reaction to what this is about." So I don't know. I mean, I know you play as Joseph. I think, right? Who's like the secondary protag maybe in the base game.
No, you play as Kidman.
Oh, you play as Kidman. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Tertiary protag, I guess. The secret villain question mark.
Like, so you're Sebastian. You're a detective with an alcohol problem.
And a dead kid and a missing wife. Don't forget. Very important.
Very important. God of War. God of War 2018 happens. And so you're with your team, Joseph, which is kind of like, I don't know, guy with glasses detective. And
he's kind of like, I mean, he's like younger and more idealistic than Sebastian, I guess, is part of the vibe. He's also gayer, question mark.
Yeah.
he's just a teensy bit fruity, just a little bit fruity.
And then Kidman is like the woman, and then you kind of learn more about her over time. She's got some ulterior motives going on.
Yeah, she's basically that lady in Dead Space. If you know what I'm talking about. I don't remember her name, but you know, the one who's working for the government in Dead Space.
Yeah. Your team gets called to like a mental hospital where like a mass killing happened. And there's this guy Ruvik who can fucking teleport. And he more or less takes everybody into his mind palace.
Yeah.
As your team kind of tracks down this kid Leslie, who is important for some reason, and his doctor.
He has autism, and so he's magic.
That too.
That too. Yeah, I don't really know what else is going on. Like, it seems like maybe there's more to that. Maybe this shows up in Evil Within 2. I don't know, but
no, it doesn't. He's linked to Ruvik somehow.
Yeah,
and is the only person Ruvik can fuse with to be ultimate brain. I don't fucking know.
I think he's trying to get him so we can turn to the ultimate life form or something like that, right? Like it's
something like that.
Yeah.
And then you're also with like his doctor, Dr. Jimenez, who is also chasing after Leslie and doing like these experiments because they're trying to do like brain stuff. They have a program called STEM all capitalized.
It's so funny that it's called STEM. Could I just?
It's so
I'm going
funny.
into STEM. I'm exploring.
Oh, we need more women in STEM.
Fuck. There is only one woman in STEM in this game, right? It's just Kidman.
Yeah.
So you know, something to think about.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, as you're exploring Ruvik's mind palace, you get more information about like who he was. He's like, also, okay. The thing is about this game is it like takes place in the U.S. in that there's like a noir protagonist, right? And it's like in like New York City, basically. But then if you drive like a mile outside of New York City, you're just in the like Eastern European countryside.
Sure.
But yeah, so like Ruvik, also this guy's name, right? Anyway, it's very confusing.
Ruvik, his name, isn't he also just Ruben? His name's Ruben, and then he becomes Ruvik. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm turning into Ruvik. I'm becoming Ruvik. Because, so he was, like, born into this, like, aristocratic family, and was really close with his sister. And this is the peasants, ? Show up while Ruben and his sister are playing in a barn and set the barn on fire, even though they hear that there are children inside of the barn.
Yeah.
Right? As, like, vengeance against this family. So his sister dies saving him, and he is like, disfigured. And he basically becomes, and then his dad, for no apparent reason, like no reason that I understand, like shuts him in the basement and tells his wife that he is dead. And so he just becomes a fucked up little gremlin boy who loves traps.
All right, because sorry, the Wikipedia says it's because he's disfigured, which is...
Oh, right, yeah. Sure, there's some, like... This is also the other thing, is it does feel like a lot of important story context is in, like, the audio logs and shit that you find around, right? Like, you wouldn't necessarily know that Sebastian has, like, a dead kid if you didn't, like, read the stuff that shows up, or do you get some mention of that?
But you need to at least interface with that to access the safe room.
Right. Or at least it like, yeah, it's usually like there as you save. I think I only missed one of his journal entries, so I got pretty much the whole thing from him.
No, the glass won't shatter until you pick up.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
whatever. I mean, you could easily not read it, but
yes.
The game really wants you to read it.
Well, it's also very, because they're not especially well written, which is charming. IMO. He's just being like, man, whiskey tastes good, man, and I'm so sad.
She caught me looking at her butt.
Yeah.
It's like the second. It's like the second journal entry.
Yeah, because his missing wife used to be his partner in the Force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he kind of becomes interested in like building a fantasy brain world where he can like live with his sister again, and is also just like interested in like people, and so he's like killing people and like dissecting their brains and doing all sorts of like fucked up shit. He kills his parents and, you know, yada yada yada. And that's when like Jimenez shows up, and Jimenez gives him like this legitimate arm in order to like, you know, test out some of his theories and do this kind of stuff. And then Jimenez betrays him and like locks his brain into the machine. Because without his brain, the machine won't work. It was like the failsafe he did. Anyway, yeah, it's like a little, you know, it's a little confusing. Too. So if you're like, what, I don't understand. Like, we are also like this.
Also, it's not really important.
No.
You know?
Yeah, I found it weird. I mean, this was what I was going to say before we recorded, and I was like, I'm about to burn pod. I found it weird that like on the Wikipedia page it specifically calls out like people were disappointed with the narrative of Evil Within. And it's like, what? Why? This does exactly what it wants to do. Like, it's not like, I don't know. I don't think I'm lowering my standards by being like, it really doesn't matter. Like, it is an apparatus. It is pure function. And it totally works. Like, it's totally engaging as a device that just like pulls you from level to level, from set piece to set piece, and like creates cool things to look at and fun stuff to shoot. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was going to say, like, if Silent Hill is the kind of movie like that would be on the Criterion Collection in October, right? The Evil Within is the kind of movie that gets an Arrow DVD release, right? Yeah. Like, and not necessarily to say that like those types of movies are like inferior to Criterion movies, but like this is super trashy horror, and I feel like it's weird that like people couldn't vibe with that. You know?
Yeah, and it's weird because this game also has like a billion different sort of camera filters that make it look like a grindhouse, like gory horror like movie or something. And I think that works pretty well. Considering how ridiculous the both the like kills and also whenever you get killed, your body just like explodes every time.
It's like so. I mean, some of them are like there's like a couple of like there's that one because there's like most of the enemies you fight are like zombies, right? Basically, and there's one of them that just has like a knife, and if you're low enough health, she'll like come up to you and then like stab you in the neck or kind of slice you in the neck, and that got me. And some stuff with the safe pyramid head. I mean, safe head. Excuse me. Guy got me too, where he has like this big old hammer that he impales you with and stuff like that. And that's like part of the appeal is like weird gore stuff, right? Yeah.
My favorite death for me was when there's that room with that big fan that like slices your head off.
Yes.
And Sebastian was like mid line. It was just like She's just like, God, this is crazy. By the end of the sentence, he wasn't even done with the sentence, and the line was finishing as his head's just rolling off the floor.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, I do like. I think there's also like Sebastian's obviously like super thin character, but like him just like walking to a room and being like, "What the shit?" or whatever is like good every time, you know. Like I think there's something that is gained by him being like a cartoon person, you know. I'm trying to think. I think I do. I just want to talk about like how good I think the gunplay and like enemy design is in this. Because like I just think the like this is a touch that I think maybe kind of helps explain. So it's it's like survival horror in that you have limited ammunition, right? And so aiming is really careful. Headshots are prioritized, right? There's also like an upgrade system, which lets you, like, for example, like I turned up the critical hit chance on my pistol to 50% over like half the game. And so then it's like if I got a headshot, it was like a 50-50 chance that the enemy would just die if it's, not a boss or a mini boss, right? But there are some enemies that wear masks, so you can't headshot them from when they're charging at you, right? When you're in front of them. But you can shoot their legs, and then if you have matches, you can just set them on fire when they're on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? And like that kind of thing where there's this like rhythmic thing about resources that it's like, okay, I can conserve ammo by getting headshots. And this and the thing is, there's not like a little tutorial pop-up that's like, there's a little tutorial thing that says like, hey, you can shoot enemies in different body parts and they'll have different reactions. But there's not one that says like, hey, shoot the guys with masks in the legs. And so like when I figured that out, like later in the thing, it was like, holy shit, now like the whole game is open for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like that playing with like body form, it's not like Dead Space where it's like, oh, you can slice all these different things off and then you can use the limbs as weapons or whatever. But it's like this super elegant and lean like thing that forces you to like try and be considerate and make like thoughtful decisions while you are in like high pressure situations. And so, it's just like when that is firing, it is like so engaging, so fun, so interesting.
There's a really good mission in the early game that's very like Resident Evil 4, like the village mission, where it's like there's one guy who has like a chainsaw, and you also have to take care of like all of the enemies around him as well. And I had to do that multiple times, but I thought it was really engaging because I was just trying to find ways to manage my resources in different ways.
Yeah, totally.
And sometimes it would just be like, I will like shoot some harpoons and like stun this guy, and then I will light this hay bale, and then some of the villagers will catch on fire.
Yeah.
And then I'll have an opening to dump some ammo, and stuff like that was like really, really cool and really engaging, I thought.
No, I agree. I think early on, especially, like the game has a little bit wider of a possibility space, right? Like the village in particular, it's like, it's like 3 houses and you can go through them in kind of any order you want, right? And so that like I died a lot in that section too, but like eventually you get this knowledge of how everything links together and you can sort of like move your way through. And I think that, that's like that's such a regular video game thing, but it's done so expertly here, right? The sensation of mastery that you get from continual play is just really palpable, really strong. I think it also helps that the upgrade system is really good, I think. Like it is kind of like percentage points of like, okay, you spend this, you can pick up brain goop, and then you shoot that brain goop right into your noggin, and that gives you like, that makes you shoot a gun faster, or gives your gun more ammo for some reason, or makes you be able to carry more stuff. But like every upgrade feels meaningful, and you can, you have enough room to experiment, but not too much that you can do everything, right? So I thought that process is really satisfying. It's also clearly meant to be played multiple times in the sense that like you cannot get enough to upgrade everything on the first go round. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought that stuff was like really satisfying, and it also like incentivizes you to look around the world and be very conscious. And I also like felt myself getting better at that over time. Although maybe part of that was that it does narrow in terms of like not scope, but like it's a little more linear. It's never not linear, right? But there's a little less exploration the further you go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, are there any like levels or particular moments that you want to shout out? I mean, you did shout out the village. Despite Ruvek showing up and like 1 KOing you in this section, which is annoying, I really like the house.
Yep, I love the house.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's also cool that like if you kind of miss an item and have to go back, then like the rooms will be a little bit different. Like there'll be traps there that weren't there before. It's basically like the set piece where it's a Resident Evil 1, like the opening Resident Evil 1 homage, basically. You know, like double staircase, multiple floors, right? And there's just sort of, that has such a nice rhythm to it. And also like has, like, I love the part where you're walking down the hallway and all of a sudden the house like tilts and there's just these big double doors that open onto like these, fucking cylinders with spikes and they're just churning, right? Like this engine of death, and you have to like shoot a gear so it won't, like that stuff where it's like just, you know, you're just playing the game and then it's like actually the floor is diagonal and you have to, you know, like do a quick thing, and it's not especially complicated, but that sensation of like always being able to be surprised, like that flexibility is so strong. I also think one of the things about the game that's like legitimately eerie is that at once like it's a dream, right? You're inside Ruvek's Mind Palace and he can just do whatever, right? But apparently he can't just kill you outright, you know?
Yeah.
And he can't, like, there's something that prevents him from doing that that's, you know, never explained or anything. Maybe it's that, you know, you're also constructing the dream world in some way, or I don't know. And so there's this combination of like this material realism where it's like you have to pick up ammo and you have to like get things, right? With this like dreamy horror world, right? That I think is really like, it's just video gamey and like unabashedly video gamey, and then gains this sort of strange quality from that. That I think, I mean, I was talking earlier, it's like, yeah, this is just super campy and it's like really fun horror. And I think that's the one element of the game that I think legitimately has some that is kind of scary to me, I guess, in a way beyond like I am having fun on Halloween and watching a funny movie, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of went off there. Did you have anything else to add there?
No, yeah, I mainly just, I think anything before chapter 10 is like top tier video game shit. Even like you get Leslie, who like is this like woman who is very like, it is very like The Ring, and she is a character that like kills you in one hit, but I didn't mind it in like the earlier levels just because I felt like the game gives you a lot of room to experiment and like figure out how to have her not kill you. And then by the end of it, and chapter 10 specifically, it's like you barely have any room to mess around. You basically just have to be perfect with your execution, or else, you know, you're dead.
That boss fight at the end of chapter 10 is super annoying too, with the big one of many like big body horror monstrosities.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way these are the same chapter.
Yeah. No, it's like, I do think that I mean, I think part of it with like, there's a couple sections, partially because it's so long, it like does a couple things twice, right?
Yeah.
In a way that it is like, yeah, this is just less fun the second time around. Sorry.
Yeah.
The thing I'm thinking about here is just like, there's this weird thing. I'm sorry that well, no, it's fine. I'm just going meta game criticism shit a little bit here. There's this thing where like, there's a common thing in games criticism where you'll like read a review and you'll be like, man, they didn't like this very much. And then it's like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Right. And it's like, what's going on? Like, why does this negative stuff that they're bringing up, like, not weigh it down? And I felt this way, like, especially like with God of War, and I haven't played God of War 2018, but just like the way people talked about like, oh, the trolls are so annoying and you do the same fight like so many times and that's like excruciating, right? And like stuff like that. I think it's just interesting that like this is a game, I mean, that was, to be fair, like pretty well received generally speaking, but did have like comparatively mixed reviews. I think it's just interesting to see like what games get that treatment versus like endless praise, and I don't really know why that is beyond like God of War is a bigger game made by a bigger studio, you know.
It was also the era of like, wow, Japan is just really behind.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, it is like, well, I mean, that's sort of because a lot of the reviews I read were like, oh, this has like outdated design stuff, which I just do not think is true. Like, there's some poorly executed stuff here, but like, I don't think there's anything in here that I'm not happy to see in a video game, like generally speaking, right? You know, like, and I think also a lot of the problems with the back third for me are like there's a fucking turret sequence basically. You know, and that shit, and it's like, yeah, I just do not, you know, I don't care about this. Like, and like, especially since like, I'm not saying that like, I don't know, The Evil Within does not have like haunting or like particularly like beautiful sections, but it has like, it's super inventive visually. It has like a lot of like weird stuff going on, and sometimes it's like
I love the way this game looks.
Yeah. And so like, and then hitting that section where you're just, okay, you're in New York and it's like Inception, you know, because like all the walls are moving around and
the
stuff.
way that part of the game looks.
Yeah,
so much.
it like looks so, and
it looks like shit.
Yeah, and to me, it's like that feels like, oh, like they played some Call of Duty and that fucked everything up, you know.
It has a weird effect because I genuinely really love the first 2/3 of the game.
Yeah,
and then. Because the game is so long and the back third is such a slog, and you're in Last of Us like PS3 world, it is just like I'm just like, why did I like this game again? You know?
Yeah.
and so that's why I felt so dejected when we first started talking about it, because I was just like, man. The game where you go into like this boring city and you like have to shoot bodies and a fish comes and kills the body and you have to sneak past it. Like but I don't know. It is such a
and that's the thing is like, because I messaged you, and I think I even posted in the Discord. It was just like, why did this game get like any negative reviews? Like, it's so good. And so like now I'm at the other end of it. I'm a bit more like, yeah, okay. You know, like I do get it, and I do think
if you're reviewing this on a deadline, you hate this game.
Yeah, no, it's and I felt that just like I was actually like pretty well paced, but you know, I finished it last night, right? You know, so I was like a little bit feeling that. But yeah, but it's just, and I also think it's a game that like rewards being careful. It rewards taking things slowly, right? It rewards like observational things, which are all things that are like difficult to do when you are playing a game quickly, right, on a deadline. So it's like, yeah.
But it also it ends with like multiple combat arenas, and one of them has like an insta-kill enemy. The one guy that like has the arms and then it grabs you.
Yeah.
and then you have to go through a fucking Ninja Warrior stage where like if you hit the one of the strings, you just like get impaled immediately. And so you have to, and you have to start that whole section over. So there was like that last like section where you have to sneak past like the strings.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't figure out where I was hitting it basically.
No, I only died like 2 or 3 times in that section, but it is like, it's hyper annoying, you know?
Yeah. And then the game has the nerve to end with a scripted action sequence where you're just shooting from a turret.
Yeah.
And then you shoot some rocket launchers and then it's over.
Yeah, which I was like, because like not to, but like I just had like a rough time with the last part of this game because I spent like an hour on the first combat arena that was just like so brutal, and eventually
it's so
it really
bullshit.
sucks. It's super hard, and it feels like it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's at the end of the game. But I did, and in fairness, I did get the like, I was making progress. Like I don't think I was ever like tilted. It was just hard. And so like, but by the end I did kind of have like a pretty good system of how to like, there's like those 3 big guys that drop, and so I would like shoot them all with a shotgun, and that would knock them all down so I could light them on fire with the matches, and then that was like half the second wave done with, right? And so like it still had this thing, right, where I was like figuring out all the little ways I could like manipulate all the tools I had, but it was just like so stretched thin that like it's just like, I don't know, it's weird to say, but it's just too hard, and it's not the rewarding stuff isn't rewarding enough to like compensate for it being just like so brutal. So I was like very relieved.
And it sucks because like you're in this like weird, cool psychonauts brain room.
Yes, yeah.
And you're like, I want to just look at this. Yeah, and I just want to look at this, and then you have to do the most monotonous gameplay stuff in it.
I really wish, because I think the house sequence, because that's where you get the like the house setting on fire, and then like all the things in the house changing, and like the weird ghosts and stuff. Like I love the haunted house kind of feel of this, and it's kind of a bummer that that's just not in the last part of the game like at all, right? It's so strong, and it feels like I thought we were going to get that when you hit the asylum, because that's such a big location for the game. It's where it starts and, you know, where it ends, and it feels like this big significant thing, and it just doesn't really do anything there, and I thought that was disappointing.
And it's such a bummer because like it is so confident in what it's doing as well. Like this is a team that like has done this, and it shows. And then just to get to that end part is just like, man.
Yeah. I think that's also
really
like,
just like, you know.
Well, just to say, I think it's like weird that, because I feel like to some degree, it not being Resident Evil 4 was kind of held against this game. And I think that that's really sad, because I just think it's so, and like, again, I haven't played RE4, and it's probably better than this, I assume, just by reputation. But like, the way this is just so expertly done through like so much of it, and that's kind of because like it's a game you make after you make something like Resident Evil 4. You know, it's underappreciated, right? It's like everybody talks about, this is dumb, this is stupid what I'm about to say, but it's like everyone talks about The Godfather, but like less people talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's that sort of thing where it's like, like this is like quote unquote a lesser film or whatever, right? But not really. It's still fucking great, you know? But yeah, it does like, that's all to say that like it does still, that last section is just rough. I was relieved though that it did ended like that sequence, just because I was like, if this is a grueling boss battle where I have to manage resources and it's like that again, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Right? So I was glad that that's just not really an element anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, we should talk about the hub, which I think is one of the coolest things in the game.
Do you like Claire Lulu?
Yeah. Have I got a game for you? Yeah. I do think I really like though that like hearing the music from, you know, when you like, it's, I don't know, again, this is actually another thing I said, like, oh, the video game quality of this is so eerie. Actually, the hub is also eerie because it's like the entryway into the asylum or something like that. So there's like a little waiting room and then a bunch of like doors where cells are, and then like an office. It's actually just kind of this weird fucked up space because it's like partially the police office and partially the asylum, right?
It is literally, Control stole this.
Yeah, they did.
1,000%.
Yes, yeah.
It is just the room from Control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good though. You know,
it's good.
It's like when the end of Zardoz does the end of Lady from Shanghai, and you just shout, she just shout and cheer because it's good.
Yeah, there's like a nurse.
Yeah,
and like, I think the nurse is supposed to be like the babysitter.
Oh, that's yeah.
I think
that's because there's some ambiguity about her identity. Yeah, but that would make sense to me.
Because there's like you get like a post like towards the end of the game that like lists her as missing and like in a fire or something like that. But yeah, and she just says like cryptic things to you and is like antagonistic. While you're in this like creepy area, you can like go behind the counter and like there's like a morgue and like you can use keys that you found to unlock like items and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you also sit in the brain chair and pump the green juice into your brain to upgrade your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get like not quite exposition, but like character interactions through like the jail cells.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like there's one guy that talks about Rubik to you throughout the game. And then the space kind of crumbles around as you get like closer to Rubik. It kind of just like crumbles around you. Or things will change. Like there's a picture that jump scares you.
Yeah.
And just like fun stuff like that.
And also sometimes
into it.
You'll get like sent there in like after a cutscene or like at the beginning of a chapter, or like, you know, because sometimes you can enter through the mirror, as we talked about earlier, right? And you'll like hear Claire de Lune playing, and that's how you know there's a mirror nearby that you can go into. And there's like a door that has the symbol of the asylum on it and stuff. But sometimes you also just go there. And I think that sensation, it's a little bit like Silent Hill 4, just in that it's the apartment is like a safe place that also feels threatening, right? And is scary and like changes, and you know. So I think that like that dichotomy. There's also one cool part where you like you're in the hub, and then the end, which has the mirror in it, the end where the cells are, like pushes back, and there's like more shit there. And you like go down a different hallway, and then, you know, and that never shows up again. It like closes up, right? That's really cool. It's just very good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pick up newspapers. I don't know. It doesn't really. But yeah, it's just good. I think that like, again, like it's so. It's just so well crafted, and I think that stuff is really indicative, and it's so inventive with how it plays around with the space too. Like I don't think every time you like get transported there lands, but some of them really do. And I also love the way that when you go into the mirror, it's like you're at a different spot in the space every time, right? It's like sometimes you wake up in the cell, like most times you wake up in the cell, but sometimes you're like somewhere else or whatever, and like that feeling of like, even though this is a space where there aren't enemies, it's still like unsafe and unnerving, right? Is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you feel about the chapter titles?
They're fine. I didn't remember any of them, but I do like that they show up.
Yeah, it's like I think it's fun and silly. I like that the last one is Unevil Within. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have anything else.
I think we covered it. It's just good. It's just really good. I think if you're like a fan of this kind of game, you could maybe quit when chapter 10 rolls around, or whatever. But I think you should play this. Like it's such a treat, and it's so like exquisitely crafted. Yeah, it's very good. Would highly recommend.
Yeah, I feel like most people would say to just play 2. 2's a very different game than this.
Yeah,
way less linear.
I'm really curious about how that will land, because so much of what I liked about this is sort of that it's very roller coastery, and which isn't to say like it can be something different. I think it's just interesting that it gets talked about in that way. That like just play 2. It's like this has so much stuff that's really cool, and that maybe is not in that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll play it for the show. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Letterboxing.
Oh, yes. So I did play it. I played it with letterboxing the whole time.
Okay.
I did the thing. I knew that you did not, and so I felt like it was my duty. And actually, I did just get used to it. Right. At a certain point, I stopped thinking about it. It did like the first 3 chapters. I was like, this looks so weird to me. And I can't. Yeah. I also do think the frame of view is a little bit wider in the letterboxed. Right. And so that was part of it. Is I did switch it at one point, and then I was like, oh, like it's closer to him, and I can't see as much from the side to side. And so I'm gonna. I wonder if it's like built a little bit around having that like peripheral vision. But I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like it. I just I like. I don't know. It felt like I had a better sense of what was around me with it off.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think it. It's not essential by any stretch of the imagination, and I think,
no. And all the like actual cutscenes, just it switches back to Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So. I don't think it matters that much.
No, I don't. And I think if it did really matter, they wouldn't give you the option to toggle it. Maybe that was like a patch or something after people complained.
It
or
was
something.
a patch, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you play the game however you feel good about playing the game, and don't worry about it too much. Generally speaking, I'm not like this, Rose. I'm not like lecturing to you. But yeah,
I was playing it on. I was playing the Xbox One version, and I think there's like less texture detail if you turn it off. But like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, this like doesn't matter that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It didn't. Eventually, it did not bug me. It was really strange at first, and also because in theory, I'm like I would love people to be more inventive with like the video game camera. It's such a weird thing, and it feels like we're really stuck in like a couple modes of using it, Then I wish we would do more weird things with it. And so I'm like for there being like, oh, we're using a different aspect ratio. Like that's interesting, but it didn't really. I don't think it really like felt like a really startling visual choice or anything like that. It's just like just whatever.
Yeah. Let me tell you about some of the DLC for this video game.
Okay, please tell me about it.
There's 3 DLC. The first 2 DLC is let me get the names up. The Assignment and the Consequence, which is it's basically just one long campaign. Those DLCs of Kidman. You kind of get her side of things about how she's like a double agent and like a member of Mobius. It's called Mobius, by the way.
That's amazing.
And yeah, she's just on a mission to like get Leslie. Didn't really play much of it. Also didn't finish it or look up the ending of it because I didn't care. It just seemed redundant. It repeats a lot of the stuff we already knew. And I didn't think the story was particularly interesting. The save system is you sit on a couch and a cat sits on your lap.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think you posted that in the Discord or somebody did.
So yeah, so that part's good. But I should say it's like mostly stealth driven. So
yeah,
a lot of the stuff around the stuff I didn't like were like insta kills you if you don't do the stealth right. Yeah, I didn't feel particularly compelled to continue doing that. Not to
be Galaxy Brain here, but like, don't make a DLC where you play as the girl and then she can't fight anyone the way the man can. Don't do that shit.
You eventually do get weapons and stuff, but yeah,
right.
It is. Not great. Okay. So the third DLC.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull up. A wiki page on this. Hold on. Sorry, give me a second.
Man, I just don't. Sorry. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and it's like, the game will definitely scratch the itch of someone who's been pining for a return to the older days of gaming, but everyone else who has come to expect that certain layer of polish likely won't be amused. I don't understand how this game is unpolished. Like, legitimately. It's hard. Like, it's frustrating sometimes. It's not unpolished. Like, it's very sharply toned. Yeah. Right? Like, I just do not understand.
This is the shitty Japan bias.
I think that's probably right.
I mean, this is 2014. Like, this is like the era.
Yeah.
All right. So the last DLC is called The Executioner. It takes place after the events of The Evil Within, and you play as the safe guy.
Oh shit!
You're the monster.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm into it.
And
BioShock 2.
The story.
Let's go.
The story. Literally, the story premise is you have a daughter that you're trying to get out of this. You're trying to get out of the STEM system, and you have to kill a bunch of other monsters to sort of rid their influence of her, and then free her from STEM. And then like the big ending literally is you have to kill yourself. You have to fight another box monster that is like a representation of yourself.
Wow.
And that's and then the last cutscene is like your daughter like at the laboratory kind of looking admiring at your dead body because she knows that you saved her or whatever. It's very low budget. It's not voiced.
That's sick.
There's like one like Joseph. So you fight Joseph at some point in this thing, and he says some lines in Japanese. So they didn't even get like the English VO on this. He just says some shit in Japanese, and then he fights you. It is first person.
What?
And so it is like first person melee combat.
Oh my god!
You start off with a hammer. You unlock like the chainsaw. You get like a blade at some point as well. And the upgrade system is like you get coins from killing enemies. And there's like combat rooms you can do on the side as well, so you can like level up and get stronger. And you can also like upgrade like your movement speed, just how much damage you're able to take, and stuff like that, and also just like the amount of damage that weapons do. It's short. It's like an hour long. It mostly all takes place inside of the mansion. So you're going into like different rooms of the mansion, and there's like these little portals in the mansion that like lead to combat zones where you're fighting the bosses.
Wow. I think it's really cool when like a sub team on a big AAA project just makes their own video game inside the video game.
Cool.
Like if you you've played Assassin's Creed Revelations, right?
Which one is that?
That's the Istanbul one. And
I'm
you
not
can
sure.
It's like the third Ezio game and he's older.
Right.
Anyway, I'm not like endorsing this game, but there's like a part of it where you get the like fucking Miles, whatever that guy's name is. I don't remember the main character in those early Assassin's Creed games' name, but his like walking simulator sad boy game. And it's pretty incredible that was like, and it got DLC too. That's just like that, like 2 of them. And that's amazing to me. Like shout outs to whoever did that. That's sick. Make your weird art game inside this AAA monstrosity, right? I think game development has changed in a way that maybe that is just not as possible as it used to be, right? But that's very cool.
It also has a new game plus, so you can just like replay it, like upgrade all of your stuff. And then the second playthrough, you unlock the Sebastian fight. So like,
oh, cool.
You do your new game plus, and like after you fight Joseph, a secret portal opens and you can fight Sebastian.
That's sick. This is like it's like an OVA, like it's an OVA. I mean, it's like just OVA, like weird side story. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Also, it's very funny that it is literally BioShock 2. I like said that.
It literally is.
It's just BioShock 2. Which I should play it because I fucking replayed BioShock 1 and Infinite like last year. So I should play a game that people think is good, or people I trust think is good, I should say. Anyway.
No, it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. Like when there's a small short DLC and it's like wholly unique to the game. It's just really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Wow, that's sick.
It felt better. Well, I haven't played a lot of Ghostwire Tokyo, but it definitely felt better to play than that.
Yeah, I'm curious about. I have like a couple friends who were like pretty into Ghostwire, which was like interesting.
I'm curious to give it another go.
Yeah, I'd like to as well. But yeah, we're definitely gonna play Evil Within 2 on the show at some point. So that might be, it might be a little bit, but we're gonna do it. Yeah, sick. But yeah, I thought
it's so sick.
It's just good, despite everything.
Yeah,
it's just pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, do we have questions?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One thing I forgot to mention about the DLC. So like, you know how your head is a safe?
Yes, I
do. So they have like, so there's a save room. You don't go inside the mirror. Instead, the mirror just gives you like the menu prompt to save.
Okay, yeah.
And then where you buy your upgrades is literally the safe on the wall, and it just has like the flesh inside, and you put your arm into the flesh, and then it pops up the shop menu.
That's sick.
And then you buy your shit, and then you take your arm out of the flesh and close the safe.
That's also
it's
just
so
one of the
sick.
Oh god, it's also sorry. I'm just thinking about the chef fight that's in like chapter 8 or whatever, like midway through the game, and because for context, like he just has like there's just a bunch of like goop and head and flesh and whatever inside the safe.
Yeah.
And so it's always like creepy when you like kill one of them because he like respawns a bunch of times, right? You kill one of them and then like it just explodes. But I love the part where you run into the next room and then you like walk and like turn a crank, and then he like shows up on the other side and just tears his own head off so he can respawn in the room that you're in.
Yep.
That's so good.
You do that here too to like teleport around.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah. It's
good. That's good as hell. I'm really glad I didn't have any information about that. Thank you for telling me. That's very. I have this like warm feeling in my heart now. I'm just like, wow, video games, so beautiful.
I know. It's
so
good.
Amazing. Yeah, that's sick. What a good game.
Good game.
All right. Do we have any questions?
We do. I'll read this one from Emirates. Let's see. There is a question about what game do you constantly mistake for a different game? So for example, Evil Within and Enemy Within, two different games.
I'm
trying to think.
I don't know. I feel like I have had this for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I remember what when this has happened to me.
Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
I guess.
I never had trouble telling those games apart. It was just literally the tripping over the name. Right.
Yeah.
Because they're very different, like, except that they're both in space, you know, like tonally and what they are and everything. It's not really very similar.
It's like GameSpot and GameStop, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think about those video games? You know those like movies that are like fake Ratatouille made for like $100? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So like people will make movies that are like Disney movies with the serial numbers filed off, and
right.
You know, and so like that it's like the idea is like someone's at the store and they'll be like, oh, or like this is enough like this thing my kid likes, I'm gonna buy it, right? People do that with games too. Like I was reading up about this like shovelware studio who made games for the PlayStation 2, and Wii, and they had a franchise called The Lion and the King that had 3
Fuck
games. Yeah. Anyway, that shit is very funny to me. But yeah, I'm trying to. They have like a giant bomb page, and so I was just like scrolling. So they have like a Peter Pan and a Snow White game and like stuff where it's like the character designs aren't exactly like the Disney ones, but they're so close that like if you were not very discerning, you maybe would think, oh, this is a Snow White game that you know my kid can play. The funny thing was this like the Snow White game was like Snow White and the 7 Clever Gentlemen or something like that. It's like you can't say, I don't know, little guys, Snow White and 7 little guys. I can't think of anything here. I'm sorry. I wish I could answer this question.
No, me neither.
I'm like,
there's another question, and it's, what do you think are the best and worst plot twists in video games?
Ooh, best and worst. This is a good question. I don't know if this counts as a plot twist. I don't like the part in Halo Reach when you find out that you're delivering Cortana to the Autumn. I think that sucks.
It's stupid.
Yeah. I like the part of that game in the first half when it's like, oh, this is totally meaningless and I'm going to die and nothing will matter. And then the game is like, actually, you're gonna die like a noble, good death. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm bored now. No, thank you. I don't know if that is it's not really a twist, but That was the first thing that popped into my head. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. As for like good twists, I do think like, oh, you know what the worst twist in video game is? I'm sorry to bring up this game on the podcast, but the worst twist in video games to me is the end of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. It was all in her mind the whole time, Rose. It was just all in her head, and she just had to heal. You know? Fuck that. Fuck that. So I hate it so much. That is my least favorite twist in video games, easily. It sucks ass.
Do you ever think they're gonna put out that second one?
I don't know. I hope not. They better not.
Coming out.
Remember when that company made Dante have a threesome at the beginning of his video game so people wouldn't think he was gay?
I try not to.
I'm sorry. Man, you can't, I don't know, you can't make a power bottom like that and be ashamed of yourselves, you know? It's fucked up. Terrible. I was gonna say, like, I don't mind, like, kind of player identity twists, like BioShock or KOTOR, right? I was also debating whether this is a twist or not, but I do think, like, a really effective reveal is the videotape in Silent Hill 2.
It's good.
Yeah, like, I just think that whole sequence is perfect, basically. You know, so, and I don't know, because it doesn't really feel like, it feels more like you find out what happened more than like, oh, this is like different than what I expected, right? But I think that's such a like well-developed little thing. How about for you? Do you have thoughts here?
I think the worst twist in games is Nier Automata. Just because it is a game about how you're clearly just fighting the same shit as you are.
Yeah.
And it takes 40 hours for the characters to learn that. And I hate it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I was going to ask. Yeah, that clarifies things for me. I was going to like elaborate on a further spoiler and like another twist in the game, but I won't. Because you clarified it for me. How about best? What do you think is good out there?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Typically tend to not like games that rely on one twist.
Yeah, I think it's like I was gonna say I think the cloud identity stuff in Final Fantasy VII is so good.
I'm sorry. Hold on. No, I take back my worst.
Oh, shit. Okay.
12 minutes. It's 12 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot.
No, that's
game
fair.
Existed.
It's really easy to forget that happened. Can you believe Willem Dafoe is in that shit?
There's an alternate universe where 12 minutes made me stop playing video games.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
If Psychonauts 2 didn't come out like the week after,
yeah,
different person. That game sucks.
Oh, wow. What can you do?
God.
What can man do against such reckless hate? TBH. I was gonna say, I think the cloud identity stuff in 7 is really good. Like, I love that there's like 3 layers to it.
It's great.
Yeah, I think that stuff is so cool, and it's like it's kind of under talked about. So very cool.
Yeah. I don't think I have much else.
Yeah. Yeah, Final Fantasy generally has some good ones. I was also thinking about, like, because I don't really think there's any twists in Final Fantasy X, but, like, the way that everything sort of gets revealed is so artful. That game's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you know, sorry, can I go off on this for a second? Because maybe this will reach the ears of some of these people. There are people out there who do not like FF10, and I don't understand you. And people who, like, are weird about the laughing scene, I don't understand you at all. You don't deserve good video games, IMO. Just to be frank. I mean, like, I get, like, that it's, like, corny and it's, like, cringe, but, like, that scene is doing something very specific emotionally, and it's not just goofy, and it's not just, like, weird localization, and that might be part of it, right? But it's, like, it just is so obviously doing something. It's not even subtext, and it's, like, weird that is, like, the ultimate moment of cringe video games, right? Rough.
I think we've established on this podcast episode that people are not normal about Japanese video games.
Yes, we really have. Like, that's weirdly been a sub-theme through this. Because I also think, you know, this is not, like, a more profound... Like, Last of Us is not more profound than The Evil Within. You know? Like, they're both just, like, genre fiction. In this very particular, like, formulaic way.
That's so...
I mean, this is like, I'm bringing up like an arbitrary comparison, right?
Yeah.
But it is like, I think there is, I guess I don't really know. I don't know how much of like the reverence around The Last of Us is like purely a creation of marketing, right? That is like something that Sony wants you to believe about the game so you will buy products, right? Versus how much that is something that is actually like felt in people. It is probably both to some degree, right? And you know, the fact that the TV show was like really successful and that like people I know who like aren't interested in video games were like watching it and talking about it like does say something, right? About like the way that story interfaces with people. I think it's really boring, frankly. I've said this before, but I think it is very funny that you could read The Road and Blood Meridian and have like multiple great video game stories completely covered, like just in the dust as well. Like The Road is like, I don't even necessarily like The Road. It's a way more interesting thing than Last of Us is, right? And I don't think that's just like a books are better than video games thing. I think that is like a failure of The Last of Us to be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for letting me go off about random discourse bullshit that is not relevant anymore. But yeah, there's just like sort of, and like I think this is something that generally we try and like be conscious of. There's sort of like some gamer common wisdom things that are very like, I think just incorrect, right?
Yeah.
And
we have one more question from Moss. The Evil Within is one of my favorite horror games, but when thinking about it and replaying it, I dread doing the stealth sections again, or try not to get one-hit kill by the bosses. Are there any horror games that you replay once in a while, or are there any horror games that you want to replay, but after remembering that one part, you decide against it?
That's a really good question. I feel like I have not played horror games that much over again. I think like Silent Hill 2 and 3, and maybe 1 as well, will become some of those games for me. I would also really like to play Signalis again. Oh, also just like quick shout out to Signalis. I think this is my favorite game like to play since then. Like both of these are just really expertly crafted games of this type, and it's just nice. It's nice to play a game that just is good and feels good. and you shoot the gun and it's good, right? Good shit. But yeah, I don't replay games, like generally speaking, all that much. But I think if there were games that would enter into that repertoire, like I think like Signalis and Silent Hills would be among them.
Yeah, Silent Hill is definitely one I go back to.
Yeah. I think I definitely, like would hesitate before playing 4 just because it's kind of annoying, right? Even though I think the game is good.
Well, what I would probably do is like download a New Game Plus save or something.
Yeah, sure.
and do that.
Yeah.
Cause fuck, dude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
If I just had a gun, if she just had a gun, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Possibilities are endless from that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
No more red soup for you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, weirdly, I think the horror game I played the most times is probably BioShock, which like sucks to say, but it's just true, I think. Also, maybe not a horror game depending on who you ask, but it qualifies to me.
I always tell myself that I'm gonna finish Resident Evil 1, and then I get halfway through and then realize I don't want to finish Resident Evil 1.
Yeah,
that much.
I think similarly that's a game that it shows its best hand early on.
Yep.
I really would like to play 2 and 3, because I've never played them. And 4, I would really like to. I really should just get to them. I guess maybe we'll do Resident Evil on the show at some point. The thing is, it just feels so fundamental to the genre. I know we covered Silent Hill, but like in terms of like how these games play, like Resident Evil is just so monumental that it feels almost like pat to cover them, and I think that's why we haven't really talked about it before.
Yeah.
And also we like don't want to play 5 or 6 again, just to.
Yeah.
We'll definitely won't do that. God, I'm so psyched for Alan Wake 2. Sorry, not to go off, but I'm pumped. Oh.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the Alan Wake DLC for Control. What I ended up doing was just downloading the Xbox One version of the game that had my completed save on it.
Yeah.
And just pick the DLC from that.
Yeah.
There's a cutscene with Alan Wake and the other guy. Who's the other guy?
Mr. Scratch?
Not Mr. Scratch. The astronaut guy.
Oh,
Fuck.
Oh, God, it like went out of my brain as soon as you said Thomas Zane.
Yes. There's a cutscene where they're talking, and this is the post Twin Peaks season 3 world. And so like they're in like this like, this place out of time, and it does the like kind of like scrubbing thing that the Purple Room in season 3 does.
Yeah.
Where like animations will like repeat or just like go back and forth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's fucking. I mean, it's clearly. I also love Twin Peaks season 3.
Right. Yeah.
And it clearly is just they like that stuff, but no other game is doing this.
I know. Like weirdly,
this is what we got.
Yeah, well, there's that Twin Peaks fan game, like PS1 style fan game. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. That game looks cool.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to get to it. I also don't know if I would say. So I started Quantum Break.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I have to play Max Payne.
Oh, you never played Max Payne?
Have to do.
Oh, you are in for a treat, my friend. Those games are sick.
I have an Xbox copy.
Oh, weird. Okay. I feel like console.
Yeah.
I played them on PC, which I think kind of. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what you think. I tried playing 2 on PS2 and like did not. I was like, I'm just gonna use a keyboard and mouse. Thank you. But yeah, no, Max Payne is just good. I think you will like those a lot. There's also kind of a like, the way that like Alan Wake is kind of like super square, like even though there's some stuff with his wife that's supposed to be like sexy, it's just this like it's like next generation kind of sex, right? Max Payne has like a griminess to it that like I think a lot of games don't like. There's sort of it feels a little dirty, and I don't mean that in like that sounds like really weird to say, but it's just kind of grimy in a way that I think games are really struggle to kind of manage. I just think it's really cool, and it's unique even in sort of the Remedy catalog in terms of like how it feels. Yeah, and you'll enjoy the Twin Peaks stuff in 2 as well, because there's.
Ooh.
Because and in Alan Wake, there's the show that's like, oh, it's the Twilight Zone. In Max Payne 2, there's a show that is, oh, it's Twin Peaks. So.
Damn. I gotta play that shit.
Yeah, it's good. Also, I think some of that stuff is going to show up in Alan Wake 2 anyway. Because there's like an evil New York City in that show, and I think that's going to be anyway. So we'll see. Also, I was going to say about Quantum Break, there are there is some Alan Wake stuff. I think I'll get a little bit further into it, and maybe I can tell you, here is the YouTube video you should watch that just has all the Alan Wake shit in it. And I also don't know if it's relevant or if it gets retconned, but it might just be interesting to have in the background going into that episode.
Yeah. So
I'll keep you posted. Also, weird fucking game. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick.
He's good. I mean, he's so typecast, but he's still good.
Yeah.
He never didn't give it his all, and I think that's so good and admirable. Shoutouts to you.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it.
Next time.
Yeah.
So this is probably the most indulgent pick, I think, that we're gonna do. So if you're subscribed to our Patreon, at the same time as you're listening to this, there is an episode on the first half of the anime Serial Experiments Lane. We watched the first 6 episodes of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then next month we'll do the second half on Patreon, and then hopefully by then the strike will be over and we get to talk about movies again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
As of this recording. But anyway, next month for Game Club, we will be talking about the Serial Experiments Lane PS1 game, which is a game that was made alongside the show. There are no direct ROM translations of this game, but if you go to lanegame.net, there is I forget what engine it's in, but it's a web-based version of the game that is almost fully translated. And it's I played this game a couple years ago and I loved it then. And I'm excited to cover it for this. There's a video by the YouTuber Hazel that is linked on this page for the game. She spoils the game at the end, but she does have some pretty useful tips getting into the game, because there's some weird obtuse game mechanics that if you just eliminate up front, you just enjoy just a visual novel basically, or a Her Story type game. But yeah, also huge content warnings for this video game. It's probably the most explicit depictions of mental health stuff, and just general self-harm stuff that is not handled in the most sensitive way. But just gonna put that up front because it is very much about mental health and in the context of you're digging through lanes like diary entries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
this is kind of weirdly
be warned about that.
Ahead of its time, because stuff like Her Story, or or A Lost Phone, or there's there's a bunch of games of this kind that are just you looking through an interface, figuring something out through looking through that interface.
It's fucking sick. This game is so fucking sick.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
If you idle on the screen, it plays a random video after 30 seconds, and sometimes it's just gore. It's sick.
I'm pumped. I'm really excited. And it's also interesting because you're a lane expert. You're a lane expert. And
Someone, yeah.
Yeah, and I've like watched this is the first time I'm watching the show. So I think that'll be fun to like go into this stuff and like have both of those experiences rattling around in there.
Yeah. Late October, baby.
Hell yes, so true. So true.
Yeah. But I guess in the meantime, you can find us at spookygame.club is where you'll find all the links. Subscribe to the podcast. Find us on Discord. Join our community. Follow us on social media for however long that's going to be.
Yeah.
Existing.
Mm-hmm. I'm Grace Machine or Grace_Machine everywhere. Or Grace Machine. Some variant thereof. You can figure it out. On co-host and Blue Sky and whatever else. Tumblr.
Yep. That's right. And you can find me at BluestRose430 on everything as well. Do you have anything else to plug?
I guess I just put up a few days ago. I put up this big bibliography of Mormon studies books and related resources on my website. I put it together because I'm interested in writing fiction, kind of in that space, but also just thought it might be helpful for people to have. And so if you're interested in reading about some weird freaks, you can do that at graceofthemachine.com. I think that's it in terms of stuff I have to plug. I also wrote for Paste Magazine recently about Baldur's Gate 3. So you can go to pastemagazine.com and read that if you want.
All right. Well, until next time.
Watch out for the evil within, you know?
Yeah. Do you know the thing about the evil within too?
No. I haven't the foggiest.
There's a character that says there's evil within too.
Yes, I did know that. Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty good, you know. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, sorry. The evil within in Japan is called Psycho Break. Guys, what are we doing? Why can't we have these cool titles?
Oh, yeah. It's like how I think like in 2017 Prey was Psycho Shock. Like that's you gotta call it that, man. That's sick as hell.
Come on.
Anyway.
Anyway.
On that note, catch you later. Thank you all for listening.
was trapped and lost, walking a tightrope bound to slip. Sound is a twisted lullaby, touch is the slice before the blood. Soon something's got to give in. Can lose control. Remember to focus, so I can find my way out. Can't breathe to the street, long way down, suffocating endless dream, long way down, long way down, long way down. Don't give up the light, using every last breath, escaping